With that being said, it's time to make history here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You know that the Big West is in partnership with Wake Up Call and with the greater Dan Tortora broadcast media family. It's called Journey Out West. We'll be talking with all of the full members of the Big West Conference. And today we get to start things off with one of the newest members as of July 1st, 2026, and that is Sacramento State, coming up to you right after you hear from the Big West.
Big West, only the bold.
In picture with me, Mark Orr, here with us for Sacramento State. I love Sacramento's logo. I now get to tell Mark that. So we are journeying out west, and in our partnership with the Big West, which officially started on August 1st of 2026, we made history across the country to do something like this in a multimedia marketing partnership that has never been seen with any of the conferences at any level. And here we are with the Big West making history with Sacramento State and Mark Orr being our first interview in the Journey Out West. Mark, welcome to the family and welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. We're excited. Certainly excited to be part of Wake Up Call here. Sacramento State is back with the Big West. We were in a conference with some of our sports, so it's nice to have all of our programs part of the Big West Conference.
And Mark, there's a lot of places that I want to go to today, and one of the things that I'd love to get to is, first and foremost, your journey, how you ended up getting to where you are today, to be sitting in the seat that you're sitting at as the Director of Athletics for Sacramento State. Bring me through the timeline of the things that have happened, the dominoes that fell to get you to where you are today.
Yeah, sure. I grew up playing sports. My father, Greg Orr, was a professional baseball scout, 38 years with the New York Yankees. So some of you are Yankee fans or not Yankee fans, but my dad was a baseball scout for the New York Yankees. I grew up playing football and basketball and baseball, ran track, and this was in the 1980s, and kids played sports outside all the time. So my parents, I did that. I was fortunate enough to earn a football scholarship to Cal Berkeley. I played 4 years at Cal from 1994 to 1998. My claim to fame, I was in the same recruiting class as Tony Gonzalez, and Tony's a good friend of mine. Never thought he'd be a Hall of Famer, and I'd be an athletic director, but played at Cal, played for 3 head coaches, Keith Gilbertson, 1 year for Steve Mariucci, and 1 year for Tom Homo. Unfortunately, I ruptured the patellar tendon and tore the ACL on my left knee my senior season. It did not allow for me to go on and play professional football. During my senior year, while I was at post-surgery, I got an internship in the athletic program, and I interned in the compliance office with now the Mountain West commissioner, but Gloria Navarez was our compliance director at the time. So I interned with Gloria. I liked behind the scenes in athletic administration, decided to go to graduate school at Berkeley. Did that while working in the compliance office at Cal. And then I went over to St. Mary's College. St. Mary's College is 15 minutes or so from Berkeley. I started at 24 years old as an assistant athletic director. This was in 2000. And worked my way at St. Mary's in 2005. I became the youngest at the time Division I athletic director. I was 29 years old and became an athletic director at St. Mary's College. We built a great program at St. Mary's, went to a Sweet 16, had Patty Mills, Matthew Dellavedova, Randy Bennett. I was there when we hired Randy. Did a tremendous job with basketball. So all the programs at St. Mary's continued to grow. The West Coast Conference was a terrific conference for us to be in.
Yeah.
And then in 2017, I had the opportunity to come back home to my hometown, Sacramento State. Again, my parents still live here. My brother, my sister work in the area. This university is near and dear to my heart because, again, this is home. And the goal was to build Sacramento State's athletic program and something this community can be proud of and build a national brand, particularly in the sports like basketball and baseball and volleyball. And so I came over to Sacramento State in 2000 and have continued to build the program to where it is today. So it's my journey started playing in the ball fields here locally in Sacramento, and it's ironic that I'm back leading the college Division I program here in the same city.
Well, and I appreciate you telling the story and sharing your road with us. You said 29 years old to be an athletic director. What did you pull from? Knowledge, wisdom. When you looked at your toolbox, what did you have in the toolbox at 29 from your experience that you felt like prepared you to be such a young athletic director?
Yeah, I could tell you at the time I wasn't too far removed from being a student athlete myself, and I think that helped. I think it helped that I wasn't that far removed. I also was, and this has been instilled with me through sports, through coaches, through my parents. I'm a competitor at heart. So I'm a worker. I'm a grinder. At that age, and also what I had learned in my athletic experiences at the time was we put the time in, you put the effort, you put the work, you're a good teammate, you work well with folks. So all those qualities we tell our student athletes really prepared me at a young age to lead an athletic program. So I always say I was fortunate again to have great coaches, and sports was a big part of me being able to lead a program, certainly at 29 years old.
And for you, Mark, when you look at the road that you had, and like you said, not being that far removed as a student athlete, the connection that you can have, what have you done to continue to build that? Because at 29 years old, right, you become an athletic director and you're not that far removed. But as time goes on, you get older, the athletes stay young. What have you done to stay connected to the student athlete?
Well, it's funny because I'm 50 years old now, so I'm pretty far removed from the student athletes. I think you always got to learn, just like in sports. Obviously, college athletics is very different now than it was in 2005 when when I first became an athletic director. So you have to adapt, you have to learn, listen to your student athletes. It's still about people and relationships. So you hire the right coaching staff, you develop the right relationships with your faculty, your president, your administration, your donors, your fans, your students, and you continue to adapt and don't think you know it all. I don't know it all. Every day, I can learn something different. So I think if you come in with the attitude that you're willing to learn and adapt and really put the time into your craft, I've probably spent the last year just listening to our student athletes in the crazy world of what's happening in the landscape of college athletics right now. One of the things I think we're missing is listening to our students. What do they want
Yeah.
in their experience, and how to ensure they're having a positive experience. And me being a 50-year-old athletic director, it's not my experience. It's our student athletes out there training right now for soccer. It's their experience, and we need to listen to them.
Yeah, and I think it's incredibly important to have the conversations, right? They say to always go to the horse's mouth, so to speak,
Mhm.
to hear what they want and what matters to them. There's a lot of people that make decisions in ivory towers and it never really ends up well for everybody. So, in that essence of wanting to hear from the student athlete, what have you done? Like, how do you put that together? Are you having workshops, or are you
Yeah,
having, a bunch of student athletes kind of come to an auditorium? Are you doing one-on-ones? Are you visiting with
sure.
certain teams during practice? How are you having these conversations?
Yeah, I think it starts with, and all Big West schools have this, and we actually have a Big West conference. We work closely with our student athlete advisory committee here at Sacramento State, and our student athlete advisory committee is made up of representatives from each of our teams. We have 500 plus student athletes, so it's hard to get 500 student athletes
Yeah,
together, but
yeah,
we utilize our student athlete advisory committee. They're the leaders of each of our programs. We meet regularly. I meet with the chairs of the student athlete advisory committee regularly, and then they have their meetings. So it starts with the leadership of your student athletes and developing a relationship there. And then I'm not a sit in the office kind of guy. I go out to practices. I was just out at soccer practice yesterday and make sure I'm visible to our student athletes. at every a game. Also, just on campus, popping in at study halls, the training rooms, the equipment rooms, really doing a good job trying to connect with our student athletes. I ask all of our assistant and associate athletic directors to do the same to ensure we're visible, we're resourced, we're approachable to our student athletes. And I think that's important.
What have you learned from some of these conversations? Maybe the biggest takeaways you've had in today's college climate?
Yeah, I think I've learned that at least the student athletes I've spoken to, they do value the education. They do value the experience of being on campus. They do not want to be employees or treated like professional athletes. I know with NIL and revenue share and the business of college athletics, it's changing. But the core of the student athletes, at least here at Sacramento State, enjoy the collegiate experience. They enjoy going to class. They enjoy the educational experience. They enjoy their non-student athlete friends and relationships they make, their faculty relationships they make. They enjoy competing at the Big West Conference and against rival schools like Cal Poly or Bakersfield or Northridge or all the competition that takes place. So they enjoy their teammates and their coaches and the relationships they're going to build here. So I think we sometimes get into it's about rev share, money, and transfer portals and all that. At the same time, if you really listen, at least on our campus, if you listen to our student athletes, it does go back to the core of why they're competing in college sports. And it is to get an education, to graduate, to develop those relationships, to compete at the high level. And there's value to that sometimes I think it's lost in a national discussion of what we're doing with college athletics.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be about the student athlete experience, and it's become about a lot of other things. I think it's important to get back to that experience, and you only get back to that experience by asking them about that exact thing. Journey Out West is what we're doing here in an all new segment with its inaugural episode today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we bring the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and the world together here in this partnership with the Big West and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're here with Sacramento State Director of Athletics, Mark Orr, speaking on his journey, the Hornets joining the Big West, and more. Mark, I got to say this in the midst of all of this, and we're live, so feel free to turn me down. But I have from afar absolutely loved the logo of Sacramento State. And I tell people all the time when I connect with athletic directors, coaches, players, alumni, whoever it may be, I say, listen, I like to rock and support gear of people I support. So I'm going to ask you this, Mark. Can we do a jersey swap? If I send you something Wake Up Call, can we get something from Sacramento State?
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll get you a few pieces of gear to wear, and you just got to tell me your size and what you want, and we'll make it happen. So yes, we certainly will make sure you're outfitted in Hornet gear.
I got to tell you, the logo is. I'm big on logos. We redesigned mine, the sun rising out of the coffee cup during COVID. I'm the type of person that takes something negative, turns it into a positive. I'm an advantageous person. So logos are important to me. I want to walk through an airport, have somebody look at my hat and go, what is that? Or I like that, or be able to recognize it and ask me where I got it. So bring me into, you've been with Sacramento for such a long time. You spent many, many years, which we'll get into in a moment, the longevity of it. But bring me into this logo and what you want it to represent, what you want us to see, because it's the first thing that people see when it comes to Sacramento State.
Yeah, I must say I enjoy our logo. I think it looks great. It was a release before I became an athletic director, so
Yep.
I can't take credit for it. But I will say it's unique. It first it has the S that signifies Sacramento. At the corner, at the bottom of the S, you see a pointed stinger, which is we being a Hornet. Stingers are obviously part of the Hornets. And our slogan here is Stingers Up. So you see the stinger. Next to the S, on the other sides of the S, are wings, are two wings. Again, showing the Hornet, and the Hornet wings are part of the S. And then in the middle, you'll see a kind of a squiggly line, and that signifies the American and Sacramento rivers that run right through campus. So it's a comprehensive a logo. Obviously, I think it looks good on uniforms and helmets and jerseys and websites and all that. But it does have a story to share behind it between the Hornet, the Sacramento and American Rivers, and obviously the Stingers up.
So the question is, what does it mean to have Stingers up? If that's the rally cry, what should we know from that?
Yeah, I think first the stingers up. We you have a hand signal. It's like this. So you use your pinky finger and you put stingers up. So that stingers up is a source of pride for Sacramento State, for our students, for our alumni. Here in Sacramento, we have 32,000, just over 32,000 students that are enrolled here, and over a quarter of a million alumni that live in the region. So it is a rallying cry to bring everybody together. And it's pretty cool when I'm in a grocery store and I'm wearing a Sacramento State T-shirt, and a stranger will say, "Oh, Sacramento State, Stingers up." So it's something that's caught on here in our community, in our city, and it's for alumni that are across the country and fans of Sacramento State across the country. It is a source of pride.
There's so many California-based teams in the Big West. There's so many institutions when it comes to colleges and universities in the state of California in general. How does Sacramento State stand out in your opinion?
Yeah, I think, well, first, we're in the capital. We're in the capital of California, which is the fourth largest economy in the world. So we're the capital city in a state that's the fourth largest economy in the world. So I always say yes, there's several California state universities, several University of California university. There's one capital city of the state of California, that's Sacramento. So I think we stand out certainly because of that. And then we're also the northernmost California city in the Big West. So most of the Big West schools are in Southern California. It's beautiful in Southern California. Lots of schools down there. We have a lot of our student athletes from that area. But in Northern California, we are the Big West member institution that's in Northern California. There's a lot of Big West alumni, fans that are here in Northern California that are excited about welcoming Long Beach State and Cal State Fullerton and UC Irvine up to Northern California to play here in Sacramento. So I think those two things really stand out. And then there's obviously a lot of similarities with us in several of our Big West member institutions in terms of our student body and academic curriculum and CSU system or UC system, size of universities. It's going to lead to some terrific rivalries that we can continue or create new ones.
Well, and that's the question is when you look at the Big West, who is the rival or the rivals that you are most excited to now as a full member join on all the fields and courts and whatnot of life?
Yeah, I think we want all of them to be a rival. We'll take them all on. Uh, Obviously, sometimes rivalries develop, to be honest with you, with good teams and hotly contested games and those kind of things. So sometimes rivalries become organic and natural. Obviously, we have common rivalries with Cal Poly. We've played them several years over in several sports, and they're pretty close to us in terms of being able to drive back and forth, and similar to Bakersfield. But all the CSUs and UCs and even Utah Valley, who's joining in. We were in the WAC with Utah Valley for baseball and developed a good baseball rivalry with Utah Valley. So we look forward to being able to expand that to other sports.
And we look at your sports on the men's side: baseball, basketball, cross country, golf, soccer, tennis, track and field. On the women's side: basketball, beach volleyball, cross country, golf, gymnastics, rowing, soccer, softball, tennis, track and field, and volleyball, all members of the Big West. And then obviously football, you're outside of the Big West. But
Mhm.
becoming a full member of the Big West meant what to you? Why was it important to not be an affiliate anymore, but to join completely?
Well, I think it makes sense for several reasons. One, for our student athletes. Again, I go back to our student athlete experience. We want to compete at the highest level of college athletics in all of our programs. And the Big West Conference is a nationally recognized conference. Produced championship and NCAA postseason berths in several sports, and one of the best. And we want to be affiliated competitively with one of the best conferences in the country. And we always felt the Big West Conference was that. Two, we mentioned it, rivalries and regional rivalries in California. These are institutions we have been competing against in non-conference play for many, many years. We recruit against them. Our student athletes know a lot of the other student athletes at those schools. Our alumni have most of those institutions have large alumni bases here in Sacramento. We do it in those locations. So it made sense that way. And in institutional alignment, our universities are aligned. The mission of our universities, how we serve our student body, our alumni. So university alignment was also fit. So it's a perfect fit for Sacramento State to join the Big West. It's going to be some great competitions over the many years to come, and we can't wait to get started.
And you spoke about being with Sacramento State for such a long time. We don't always see that with athletic directors, with coaches. Why the longevity at Sacramento State? I know you talked about there's something about playing on a baseball field and coming home. What else
Yeah.
about this school has kept you here? Even if another school called or another opportunity arose, why continue to keep the stingers up and stay with Sacramento State?
Well, outside of it being my hometown and family and all those type of things, the trajectory of Sacramento State is through the roof right now, and what's happening on our campus, the leadership we have with Dr. Luke Wood, who's our president, our cabinet, what's happening in terms of enrollment, in terms of alumni giving, in terms of national branding. It's just an exciting time to be part of our of transformational time here at Sacramento State. So from that end, it's just such a great time and a place to work. The other part is on a competitive side, on an NCAA Division One side. I think we've been a sleeping giant for many years, and we're starting to wake up. Is how I like to say it. It's we're starting to have success in several of our programs. We hired Mike Bibby in men's basketball. We have Shaquille O'Neal as our general manager. We have we have our volleyball programs been in multiple NCAA tournaments. Our baseball program's been successful for so many years. Men's golf and women's tennis went to the NCAAs this past year. So you're starting to see all these programs starting to rise to the occasion and have success. And it's just an exciting time to be part of the journey here.
And you spoke about your men's basketball staff, Mike Bibby. I grew up watching Mike play for the Kings and,
Yeah.
seeing all the work that he did, his incredible movement with the basketball. I grew up playing, I got recruited D3. I am a guard, I'm 5'8". So I respect the Mike Bibbies of the world, but Bibby did it differently. He was just there's watching a really good guard and then there's watching the ones that you don't forget. And so when I hear Mike Bibby, I go back to the jersey, go back to his number, go back to some of the moves and whatnot. So bring me into the move that brought in Mike Bibby. How did you do it? Well, you put the moves on him, gave the little crossover. How'd you get him here?
Well, I can tell you, Mike wanted to be here. So Mike, it wasn't very difficult for me to get Mike to be interested in Sacramento State. He's always wanted to lead a college program. He had a great experience here in Sacramento. In many years, he played for the Kings. So it wasn't a difficult sell for me to sell him on Sacramento State or the city of Sacramento. I think what the timing was great for us. We were coming off of a tough season. We had an interim head coach at the time. I felt our program needed somebody like Mike that's played at the highest level, that was rooted in Sacramento from his time playing with the Kings. that can connect with this age of student athlete and this landscape of what's happening on a national level, particularly in college basketball, and that has one of the greatest basketball minds in the world. If you're an NBA point guard at the level that he was at,
Yeah.
and the way Mike played, he was such a cerebral player. He played for Lute Olson. He played for Kelvin Sampson. He played for Rick Alderman here in Sacramento. So his knowledge of the game was just it's still I'm amazed how he sees the game of basketball and what he does with it. So we've gotten through 1 year with Mike, and he is recruiting very, very well, built in this program the right way, has roots here in Sacramento, and I couldn't be more fortunate to have him lead it.
And then you mentioned Shaquille O'Neal, and not Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. Shaquille O'Neal, which is crazy to say, but here we are today. Shaquille O'Neal and Shaq, if you're watching this, if you're watching Mark, I do impressions. I have impersonations. I've done like up to 47. I do have a Shaquille O'Neal. I love his back and forth with Charles Barkley. I think it's incredible. But bring me into this. So how involved is Shaq as the general manager of this team? What is his day-to-day? Are you interacting with him? Bring me into Shaq on campus at Sacramento State. And is he stingers up when he's out there doing his thing?
Yeah, Shaq is definitely stingers up. But he has such big fingers, so his fingers up are much larger hands than mine. But yes, Shaq is one of the most successful professional basketball players, and I would even say off the court than he was even on the court. Everything he's done in education, obviously multiple degrees, and he values education. Obviously, what he's done in business, obviously with media, with endorsements, with investments, one of the brightest minds to leave professional basketball or his playing career and continue to have success. So his role for us, first and foremost, is to be a mentor to our student athletes, not just basketball, but certainly our student athletes. And he has been that. He certainly connects to particularly our men's basketball student athletes, helps them with dealing with everything with NIL to revenue share to one day having a future in professional basketball to business, to just their student experience. And Shaq has just been tremendous in that way. He certainly works close with Coach Bibby, for evaluating a recruit or a potential opponent. Shaq, obviously, with the level of basketball that he's played at, certainly has basketball expertise that helps us. And then on the fundraising, donor, alumni side, he's been tremendous there. He did a video for our admissions office, encouraging non-student athletes, but encouraging admitted students to attend Admitted Student Day on campus. So he's shot videos for different parts of campus. He's made multiple visits out to interact with folks and be here on our campus. So he's just been tremendous. Pretty much anything we've asked him to support us on, he has. And he is just a wonderful person. We're trying to get him to come out here and DJ, do some I don't know if you know, DJ Diesel is really a big thing. So hopefully in the future we'll get him out here to do a DJ event for some of our students on campus. But he is just a wonderful person. His son Shakir was on our team last year. Was a straight A student, graduated, walked across the stage this June. Shaq was at the obviously the commencement ceremony. So I couldn't say enough great things about Shaq and what he's done and continues to do for our students, our basketball program. Just a tremendous person, and it's great to have him around.
If you were to rap battle with Shaquille O'Neal, can you hang or no?
No, absolutely not. Shaquille O'Neal, I don't think people realize how successful he was as a musician. He's actually really, really good, and an actor, obviously. I told him I really liked his performance in Blue Chips. I don't know if those of you are listening have watched Blue Chips with Nick Nolte and Anthony Hardaway and Shaq was in there. So that was although everything in Blue Chips now is probably NCAA permissible and legal now. Back then it wasn't, but Blue Chips was one of my favorite Shaq films.
Yeah, I think mine was it Kazam?
Kazam was a good one too.
Yeah, I think
Kazam was a
that
good one too.
that was the one. I'm like, man, if I could have Shaq as a genie, that would be amazing for me.
Oh no, he's great. Just a tremendous person.
So, Mark, we're going to jump into something called rapid fire. It gives you an
Okay,
opportunity as a director of athletics to do something you probably have never done, which is to ask the questions instead of just
okay,
being asked. So,
all
you
right.
and I will go back and forth. You'll ask the first, I'll ask the second, and we'll have a few rounds here. We can talk about any topic, doesn't have to be sports, could be anything in the world. But as we are
Huh.
in our inaugural episode of Journey Out West, in our partnership with the Big West Conference, and here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, making history with the athletic director of Sacramento State. You get the first question, Mark. What do you got?
Wow. All right. Let me think. So I'll start with an easy one since it's been all over the news. What do you think about LeBron James going to the Sixers?
My buddy is one of the analysts and really my key analyst when it comes to basketball is Dave Paziak. He's a longtime coach, loves kids, and is just a tremendous leader in my opinion, and a great overall encyclopedia of basketball. He is a Sixer fan and he's a LeBron fan, so
Okay.
I'm sure this is a great moment for him. I I mean, okay. So I'm gonna put it to you like this: Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever,
Okay. All right.
without
Yep. I
question.
agree. I agree.
Okay, and my response is I have three reasons why. One, why would LeBron wear 23 if Michael wasn't the best? Two, why would you make Space Jam 2, which I'm not ever going to watch? And three, Michael Jordan never got tapped by a pinky and flew across the room like the Matrix. So
That is true.
so that is why Michael Jordan is the great, and he can fly. So Michael Jordan is the greatest ever. There is no conversation in my world about that. So the
Okay.
young kids need to educate themselves. LeBron is a physical specimen, got probably 0.5% body fat, and obviously he's done a lot of things. They're putting together a super team in Philly, and we'll see what that looks like. I still think Boston's going to have something to say about it. I still think there's other teams that could sneak in. I think a healthy Indiana Pacers team. But, I'm happy for LeBron. It's a nice change of scenery. And I don't know if Shaq would agree with me, but I don't think LeBron is on my Mount Rushmore of greatest Lakers of all time.
Hmm.
Kobe, Magic,
Yeah.
Kareem,
Cream.
and
Jerry-
it's like a
Maybe
toss up after that of like Worthy and so on and so forth. I mean, there's
yeah.
so many great. I think Eddie Jones is completely overshadowed, which I don't know
I,
why. I
I
think Derek
really do.
Fisher.
Yeah.
There's some great guys. Not on my Mount Rushmore, but I think Eddie Jones is like that close. Where do you put him? But the greatest Laker of all time, I think that's between Kobe, Kareem, and Magic, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So my question back to you is, if Bibby was to put you on the squad in your prime, tell me the other four guys. If you could pick anybody from NBA or college history, who would you want Sacramento State to put as their starting five in your prime? Who are the other
In
four
my
with you?
prime,
In your prime, you're playing plus four other guys. Who are those guys?
and it can be anybody.
Anybody.
Well, first of all, if it were me, it'd have to be four guys who can cover up for me. So obviously, Michael Jordan. I would agree with you. Michael Jordan's, to my mind, is the greatest basketball player ever who ever played. So I definitely have Michael Jordan on my team. I obviously would say LeBron as well. I'm a big Kareem guy. I think Kareem gets overshadowed. So I mean the big man in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm going Kareem.
Okay.
And then you got to get a shooter. You got to have a dead eye shooter. You can't just have LeBron and Michael and Kareem. So I probably would take who I think is the greatest shooter that I've ever seen in Steph Curry. I put Steph Curry there to just keep all the defenses honest. And then I could just set picks. And, I'm an old football player. I could text picks and set picks, play defense, do that kind of work.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I hope Shaq's not listening.
I know. I thought about Shaq, but I got to go Kareem. I got to go Kareem. He would agree.
What's your next question for me, Mark?
All right, let me ask you this. We talked a little bit about blue chips.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your greatest top five sports movies.
Oh, goodness me. All right. So, number one, Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
I think America needs to watch it again. I would say I got to put number two, The Express, because I'm a Syracuse native and Ernie Davis, man, the Elmira
Yeah.
Express. So I got to put that in there. And I'm good friends with Floyd Little. May he rest in peace. And I know he's watching over us. And I know, he's a part of that lineage of 44 at Syracuse. So I'm going to say The Express, number two. Number three, I got to put The Sandlot. Got to
Yeah.
put The Sandlot. So, Baby Ruth, and you gotta enjoy all those moments. And I love Baby Ruth candy bars thanks to my grandpa. And then number four, I'm working my way down here. Number four, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I got to put Angels in the Outfield.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good one.
Got to put Angels in the outfield. And then number five is, this is so hard because I really like, there's a movie that came out recently that I was a big fan of, and I'm sitting here trying to think of the name of it, and I know that it's going to come to me. Oh, I was right. So the movie Champions with Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yeah.
I really like Champions, and at the same time, Moneyball.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I think it
Moneyball's
would
good
be a
too.
tie between Champions and Moneyball.
All good movies. I haven't seen Champions. I got to watch Champions.
Yeah, Champions is it's a really
Good
good
movie.
movie. It's people with intellectual limitations playing
Okay.
basketball. Woody Harrelson is a coach. He gets fired, and then they ask him to come coach this team, and it's what it does to his life, what it does for the kids, and it's just a really, to me, it's one of the best movies sports wise that's come out in recent history, I would say.
Well, shoot. Now I got it. Now I got it to do. I got to watch it.
But there's a ton of great movies. I mean, Al Pacino's Speech, for goodness sakes. I mean,
Oh
there's so many movies I could have gone to. So I'm gonna flip the script on you, and
yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
put you. I'm gonna say to you something different. What are the five worst movies you've ever seen? Anything,
Ooh.
any genre. The
See
movies
now,
you would
now
never watch again.
you're gonna get me in trouble with my wife because it's probably a movie I watched with her that she wanted me to watch. So I
Okay.
can give you. I'm not a big rom-com movie guy, so You've Got Mail. I'm not a big fan of You've Got Mail. My wife likes watching that movie. Some of the kids' movies that I had to grow up with my kids watching. Frozen. I don't really like Frozen. I wasn't very fond of Thomas the Train. I don't know if you guys ever heard of
Yeah.
Thomas the Train. They had a movie
Mhm.
that wasn't very good. I don't like long, drawn out movies. So I know this may be controversial, but I'm not a big. What was the Tom Hanks movie where he was on the island? The whole
Castaway.
movie. I'm not a big Castaway guy.
Okay.
As I said, I get out of the office and stuff. If the movie's too long and drawn out, I'm not a big Castaway guy. Let me think. What other movie did not like? Um, I think those are kind of the ones that if they're on, I wouldn't watch. I thought it was yeah, that's probably where I'd be at. I don't like. I'm an original Marvel fan. Like I like the original Christopher Reeve Superman or the original
Yeah.
Michael Keaton Batman. I don't like the new versions. If there's the new versions and they change the stories, not
You
a
don't
big
like.
fan of those.
Okay. So nostalgic and what's your wife's name?
April.
April. You have
Anything,
April,
any rom-coms.
you have my permission this weekend to put on Miss Congeniality 2
Oh yeah.
or In Her Shoes
In
or
her
any of these
shoes.
spots. Sex in the City, the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Give it
I'll
back
do
to
it
this
to be a
man.
good husband.
Yeah. All right. So what is your last question for me, Mark?
Oh, let me think. Greatest, what is your greatest, what do you think is the greatest sporting event in the world? If you had a chance to go, what is the
Greatest one. So I would say, I mean, I've been to the NCAA tournament, the Final Four, the national championship. I've been to the college football playoff. I've covered those, credentialed to those, and those were tremendous. I would say if I had to pick one right now, and I've been to the World Series, brought my dad. I'm an Arizona Diamondback fan, so we came out to see them at Chase Field. So if I had to pick something I haven't been, it would have to be the Super Bowl. It'd have to be going to the Super Bowl, experiencing that. I haven't been a huge fan of a lot of the like recent acts. So I'd like to get something. I like when they mash up and they surprise guest you. So I like when it was like Aerosmith, Britney Spears, NSYNC. It was like different, coming from different places and whatnot. I like when they mix it up and make it something cool. Like bring me some classic rock, country, classic rock, hip hop, like something of that nature. I think we need to have mashups. I think events like that, stages like that, are meant for that. So
Yep.
I would say, not only the game, but I think the shows could be a little bit better. I will tell you this though, before last year's Super Bowl, a year before, I wrote on a piece of paper, I said, where's the Super Bowl going to be? They said California, and like, where in California and all that. I said, okay, California. I thought about it, I had some things kind of hit my brain of like, this is why. I wrote down the name, folded it up, put it in my studio, and it sat there until they announced it. Bad Bunny. I had it 100% correct. So,
Yeah.
so
That's awesome.
I think we need Diesel for one of these to do the
We do need Diesel.
I
We
know
do
he's
need
done the
Diesel.
college football playoff because I've been there when Diesel's been there. So
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
he's been a part of that. So yeah, I would say the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're with me. I've never been to a Super Bowl, although the World Cup seems try to get to a World Cup game. They had one in Santa Clara here, but I didn't get a chance to get over there. So there's and then you have the LA Olympics coming up in 28. Maybe I can try to get down there. But sports, just in general, you mentioned March Madness and college sports, Super Bowls, World Series. What a time to be part of it.
Absolutely. My final question for you, Mark, in this inaugural episode of Journey Out West, you always be the first. And Sacramento State starting things off, kicking things off here for the Big West weekly segment every Friday on Wake Up Call exclusively here at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:15 a.m. Pacific Time from here forward. Mark, my final question for you, if Shaquille O'Neal was going to rap about you and we were going to give him 3 topics that he had to keep within his rap, what 3 topics connected specifically personally to Mark Orr would we say to like, we're going to write these 3 things on a sheet of paper and Shaq's going to pick out of a hat and he's going to have to incorporate these 3 things about you. What are those things?
Whew, that's a good question. I think he'll have to incorporate I I think he'll have to incorporate. I'm kind of goofy energy, goofiness.
Okay.
So he'll have to incorporate some of that. I think he'll have to incorporate sports. just because I spend most of my time as a fan of pro sports. Obviously, I work in college sports, so he'll have to incorporate sports in there some way. And then I think he'll have to incorporate. I enjoy cars, so I enjoy nice cars and all that. So something along the lines of a car, a truck, or something like that. So I think he'll have to incorporate an automobile somewhere.
All right, Shaq, get on it. So, with that being said, Mark Orr here, the director of athletics, Sacramento State, here with the Hornets, telling his story and the greater story of Sacramento State as they have officially, as of July 1st, joined as a full member to the Big West, one of the three newest members of the Big West. And as we journey out west, the first member to speak here on Wake Up Call in this partnership with the Big West overall and all of its members. Mark, it's been a pleasure being here with you, bonding the East Coast, the West Coast, and the whole country. And of course, the only way that I find fitting to end our conversation is to say, Stingers up.
Stingers up, and thank you for having me, and thanks for those who are listening. Really appreciate it.
Look forward to talking with you soon. Take care.
Thank you.